of Anneliese Michel, the real story behind the exorcism of Emily Rose. In the quiet German town of Klingenberg, a deeply religious family would become entwined in a series of events that would later become tragedy, leading to a controversy surrounding religion, science, and the paranormal that is still debated to this day. Anneliese Michel, born in 1952, grew up in a devout Catholic household. In her late teens, Anneliese began experiencing severe psychological and physical symptoms, including depression, self-harm, and an aversion to religious objects. Anneliese Michel's descent into the harrowing realms of possession began as a teenager in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Initially, it was unexplained blackouts. Then, Anneliese started displaying signs of psychological and emotional distress. Her once vibrant demeanor gave way to bouts of depression, self-isolation, and an inexplicable aversion to religious symbols. Her devoutly Catholic family, initially attributing these changes to typical adolescent struggles, soon grew alarmed as Anneliese's behavior took a dark turn. Anneliese herself began reporting disturbing experiences. She spoke of hearing voices that taunted and berated her, claiming to be the voices of damned souls. Nightmares plagued her sleep, filled with demonic figures and grotesque visions. These disturbances intensified, and Anneliese's mental and physical health deteriorated rapidly. Her parents watched helplessly as their daughter spiraled into a world of torment. Medical professionals were consulted, and Anneliese underwent numerous psychiatric evaluations. However, conventional treatments failed to alleviate her suffering. The inexplicable nature of her symptoms left the Michel family grappling for answers. Amidst this turmoil, Anneliese's aversion to religious objects became more pronounced. Crucifixes, holy water, and even entering a church triggered violent reactions. Convinced that their daughter was in the grip of supernatural forces, the Michels turned to their faith for solace. The family sought guidance from local priests, detailing Anneliese's erratic behavior and the disturbing occurrences that had consumed their lives. It was at this juncture that the clergy, noting the intensity and nature of her symptoms, believed that she might be suffering from demonic possession. Anneliese, deeply religious herself, embraced this explanation, feeling that she was at the mercy of malevolent forces beyond her control. In 1975, two priests, Ernst Alt and Arnold Renz, were granted permission by Bishop Joseph Stangl to perform exorcisms on Anneliese. Convinced that conventional medical treatments had failed, Anneliese's parents, Joseph and Anna Michel, believed their daughter was possessed by demons, and this may be their only hope to spare her from her torment. The exorcisms unfolded over 10 months and were marked by extreme physical and psychological distress for Anneliese. The exorcisms were marked by their intensity and frequency. Father Alt, armed with sacred rituals and prayers, confronted the unseen entities that tormented Anneliese. The sessions, initially sporadic, soon became a near-daily ritual that tested the endurance of both the possessed and those attempting to cast out the alleged demons. Anneliese's parents played an active role in these sessions, fervently participating in the prayers and rituals prescribed by Father Alt. They observed as their daughter contorted in pain, her body subjected to the invisible forces that the priest sought to banish. Father Alt documented the sessions meticulously, detailing the manifestations he believed to be evidence of demonic possession. Anneliese, during these exorcisms, spoke in guttural voices, exhibiting strength beyond her frail physical state. She allegedly displayed aversions to sacred objects and manifested a repulsion to religious iconography. The exorcisms were physically and emotionally draining for Anneliese. She endured hours of prayer, fasting, and the recitation of sacred texts. As the months progressed, her health deteriorated alarmingly. Anneliese, already weakened by the demands of the exorcisms, began to show signs of malnutrition and dehydration. The rituals designed to expel evil were unwittingly leading her toward a tragic end. Father Alt, driven by a deep sense of religious duty, believed he was locked in spiritual combat with demonic entities. However, the question lingered. Were these truly malevolent forces, or the manifestations of a troubled young woman grappling with profound psychological distress? The relentless exorcisms, conducted with a fervent belief in the supernatural, would culminate in a tragedy that would shake the foundations of faith and raise profound questions about the intersection of religious conviction, mental health, and the responsibilities of those entrusted with the spiritual well-being of others. Tragically, on July 1st, 1976, Anneliese Michel passed away due to malnutrition and dehydration. The autopsy revealed that her death was a result of the harsh conditions imposed during the exorcisms. Anneliese's parents and the two priests were charged with negligent homicide. In the aftermath of Anneliese Michel's tragic demise, the courtroom became the stage for a legal reckoning that would cast a spotlight on the complex interplay between religious beliefs, mental health, and the consequences of unorthodox practices. The trial of Anneliese's parents, Joseph and Anna Michel, along with the two priests Ernst Alt and Arnold Renz, unfolded in 1978, marking a critical juncture in the aftermath of the exorcisms. The courtroom, normally a bastion of legal deliberation, now became the arena for a clash between faith and reason. The prosecution argued that the individuals responsible for Anneliese's care and the religious authorities who conducted the exorcisms were accountable for her untimely death. The defense, on the other hand, contended that they acted in accordance with their deeply held religious beliefs, believing they were combating supernatural forces. Witness testimonies during the trial painted a harrowing picture of Anneliese's final months. Medical experts detailed the severe malnutrition and dehydration that led to her demise, emphasizing the physical toll of the prolonged exorcisms. The defense, however, sought to frame Anneliese's death as a consequence of possession rather than negligence. In 1978, the court delivered its verdict. Anneliese's parents and the priests were found guilty of negligent homicide. The sentence handed down included 6 months in prison with probation for 3 years. The legal repercussions, while holding the accused accountable for their roles in the tragedy, left lingering questions about the broader implications of religious freedoms and the responsibilities of spiritual leaders. Nearly 3 decades after the trial, the narrative of Anneliese Michel's haunting experiences found its way onto the silver screen in the form of the film The Exorcism of Emily Rose, 2005. Directed by Scott Derrickson, the movie blended elements of horror and courtroom drama, weaving together the supernatural events and the legal aftermath in a compelling narrative. In the film, Jennifer Carpenter portrayed Emily Rose, a character inspired by Anneliese Michel. The courtroom scenes depicted the legal battle between the defense, arguing for the existence of demonic possession, and the prosecution, asserting that medical neglect was the cause of Emily's death. The film prompted a revisitation of the ethical questions raised by the real-life events. While The Exorcism of Emily Rose took creative liberties and heightened the horror elements for cinematic effect, it succeeded in reigniting public interest in Anneliese's story. The movie served as a prism through which the complexities of the case were refracted, sparking discussions about faith, mental health, and the fine line between spiritual conviction and legal responsibility. The case of Anneliese Michel has been covered in many other various forms of media, including documentaries, books, and articles. Perhaps most notably, Requiem, 2006, a German film exploring Anneliese Michel's life and the events leading up to her tragic death. Requiem provides a more realistic and less sensationalized portrayal of her case. The haunting tale of Anneliese Michel, immortalized in various forms of media, lingers as an indelible mark on the intersection of faith and tragedy. Was Anneliese truly a victim of demonic possession, or did her tormented psyche fall prey to a convergence of religious fervor and untreated mental illness? The blurred lines between supernatural belief and medical neglect persist, leaving a haunting ambiguity that challenges society to confront the complexities of such cases. As the legacy of Anneliese Michel lives on, it serves as a cautionary tale, urging us to grapple with the unresolved mysteries that linger in the shadows of faith, leaving room for reflection on the delicate dance between spirituality, the supernatural, and the human condition.